everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are unfortunately here to talk about the first Carolina Panthers loss of the season. The Panthers fall 36-28 to the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas in a game that honestly, second half, it just wasn't close. The
Yeah.
Cowboys dominated the second half. A game filled with a lot of mistakes from the Panthers, a lot of bad calls from the refs, and just honestly really good
Yeah.
play from the Cowboys.
The Cowboys did exactly what they wanted to do. The bad
Yeah.
thing is the Panthers defense, who's been dominating games, just got
Mhm.
steamrolled. And it's
Yeah.
it's really scary and sad. We'll get into the what happened here in a minute. But man, any thoughts on from you?
I mean, yeah, basically what you just said, that the defense looked average at best.
Mm-hmm.
We talked, in our preview that Dallas's offense is obviously the best that we had seen so far. I think they're one of the best in the league. Top two or three probably.
Talent
They've got
wise.
playmakers. Yeah, got playmakers all over the field, and they look like it today. I mean, 0 sacks for the Panthers in this game. Just could not get to Dak,
Mm-hmm.
and and we'll talk again about our offensive line, but completely different story
Yeah.
on our side of the ball.
The first play was Burns taking down Dak, and Dak magically gets the ball out. That was the
Yeah.
closest we had. And after kind of the second or third drive, it seemed like our defensive line, our pass rush, just wasn't what it was. Like they just kind of like lulled to sleep all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk through it here. We'll figure out if we can, or see if we can figure out what went wrong. But let's start. Let's start talking about our keys to the game here.
All right. This is the key play of the game. First one, score tied 7-7. Panthers just got on the board. Second and 11 at Dallas 36. Dak Prescott pass short right to Schultz to Dallas 46 for 10 yards. That's all it says on the box score. But what happened is he fumbled clearly. And some reason the ref called forward progress, even though it was a one-hit tackle. It wasn't like he got driven back. It was hit, tackle, and driven down like a normal, good, clean tackle, hard hit. And he fumbled as soon as he got hit. Bad call by the refs. And it was almost like a
Yeah.
makeup for like a bad fumble call they had like 2 plays earlier. It was just
That's what.
awful.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because first of all, that was an excellent hit by Jeremy Chin.
Mm-hmm.
Did exactly what you want to do. Nailed Schultz, and yeah, didn't drive him back, 5 yards or anything by himself.
No.
Just took him to the ground. It was a nice looking hit. He kind of picked him up, took him down, but that ball was out immediately. And I was going to ask you, I believe it was Schultz who had the fumble that was overturned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Either the play directly before that or a couple plays before. And I'm just wondering if the refs are like, well, we just spent all this time litigating that fumble. Let's go ahead and just call this one dead and move on.
It would have been that different, but the worst part is they called it forward progress was stopped, so it was not challenged.
Which is what they could do. That's the only thing they could do to ensure that they didn't have to go through the challenge process, right?
Yeah, well, so the refs didn't want to get showed up again, so they just
right. And that's I mean, I honestly, watching that play, I don't know why any other reason why they would have called forward progress. I can't figure it out.
no. The commentators couldn't. Greg Olson and
Yeah.
even Dean Bledino, I think their guy says, I don't know. It was the refs sucked again.
was
The
bad,
refs
yeah.
sucked.
It seemed like
And-
every time the Panthers did something well, there was a flag
Yeah, and questionable flags left and right.
or
It wasn't
a
like
non-call. Yeah.
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 But when you play Dallas, you always play the refs. It's been like that since my dad and I was a little kid, and he was a San Diego Charger fan. He would always say, "You got to beat the refs when you play the Cowboys because they always favor them," and it's true to this day.
One of the reasons why we all hate the Cowboys.
Exactly.
All right, second play here. Panthers driving here, 2nd and 9, Dallas 11, 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Sam Darnold makes a nice little fake pitch
Mm-hmm.
and just runs it right into the end zone for 11 yards. His second rushing touchdown of the day, his fifth of the season. At this point, Panthers up 14-13. We're
Mm-hmm.
all feeling real good
Sam
about this
Darnold
team.
using his legs well, and
Yeah,
running the ball like a Dan Newton, Cam, whatever you want to call him.
yeah, Cam Darnold. Yeah, it's I will say this about Sam. It is very interesting to see how they use him in the
Mm-hmm.
goal line situations, because we know that historically Christian McCaffrey has not been good in those situations. But Sam's getting it done. So
Yeah,
that's one way to solve your red zone issues. Is you just
a little
you
trickery.
add another option to to what the defense has to watch for. But yeah, I mean up 14-13 at that point, and the defense holds for the rest of the half. Panthers up
Mhm.
14-13 at half.
Yeah, and get the ball back in the beginning of the first half, and
And
that
then
leads
this
to
happens.
this play. We drive down the length of the field, and on Dallas 36, 4th and 7, they decide to kick a field goal. I personally said, I don't like this. Zane Gonzalez does not have a good leg, and pushing this that far, he's probably going to miss. And that's exactly what he did. Missed a 54-yarder, and it led to a Cowboys touchdown. Short field. I mean, it
Yeah.
just seemed like, why are we doing this? If I said to my wife, at 4th and 7 on their 36, I'd prefer to just straight up go for it. Sam was making the right calls, and he had the wheels that were working for him. I
Yeah.
didn't like this call at all.
The kick, and that's one thing that even Rule has said is that they went with Gonzalez because they wanted accuracy over
Mm-hmm.
power, essentially, right? The kick had the length, it looked like, but he had to put so much into it that
He hooked
he
it.
didn't have the accuracy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't like the call. Like I said, I would have preferred to just actually go for it, but
Yeah. At the time, I didn't mind the call. I've wanted to see him kick a 50 plus yarder. I just wanted to see if he could do it. If he makes that kick, that's great. But I I kind of agree with you. I think if you just go for it, just put it in Sam's hands at that point
yeah,
and see what happens, or punt
yeah.
and trust your defense. But yeah, that, like you said, that led to a touchdown. And our next key play here, our last key play, um, 35-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper. Again, just a couple minutes after that missed field goal. That puts the Cowboys up 2014. And unfortunately, CJ Henderson, our new addition, at first I thought he was burned on that
Yeah.
coverage, but it
Yeah.
wasn't bad. It
No.
wasn't bad coverage, just a great throw by Dak.
Yeah, he sent me that he got burned. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I think he had solid coverage. It was just a beautiful throw. Yeah, Henderson could, if he would have stayed up on his feet, would have had better
Yeah.
position, but it wasn't
Kind of
awful.
stumbled there at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just a nice play by Dak, and that puts him up 2014. And honestly, from that point on,
The th-
misery
the
ensued
third
for
quarter
the
they
Panthers.
just seemed like they gave up all of a sudden. They're like,
Yeah,
oh well. And
yeah,
then in the fourth quarter, they tried to make a comeback. Hats off to the players and the coaching staff for kind of coming in. But Dallas kind of, I don't know, man. I don't know what coaching adjustments this team made in halftime. It obviously didn't work. And Dallas, Mike McCarthy, they made the right halftime adjustments. They just ran it down our throats in the second half, and it worked.
yeah. I mean, after that missed field goal, Dallas touchdown, Panthers punt, Dallas touchdown, Panthers interception, Dallas touchdown, Panthers
Mm-hmm.
interception, Dallas field goal. And that's, I mean, at that point, it's a 22-point game, and or what, 20,
Yeah,
yeah,
22.
22-point game. So it's over.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and say it. They had a nice, some garbage time points there at the end, and had they had some timeouts and had the defense been able to make a stop, they may have had an opportunity to have the ball with just being down one score. But um,
This
Not enough.
defense, this defense didn't get those outs. They got pummeled up the middle.
Yeah.
Derek Brown and Daquan Jones, they're going to look at this game in disdain because they got pushed around and bullied by that offensive line all game. All game. And I don't want to say that's solely where this responsibility goes, but that's where I feel like we lost this game because they realized once that they could just run over our defensive line up the middle, they just kept going back to it, which, I mean, that's what you got to do anyways. I mean, Dak only had not even 200 yards. Yeah, he played
Well,
well.
he didn't have to, throw a lot
Yeah, you
because they
negate
had 245 rushing yards.
you negate that pass rush by running the ball and gaining first downs. Okay, let's do that. I mean, and that's on Phil Snow and the guys playing because they didn't stop it. They've stopped everyone else up the middle, but they just got pushed around and bullied.
And again, we talked about this in our preview. Is that these guys, both Pollard and Zeke, are better than I mean, Kamara is very good, but that game was so weird that coming in, Dallas was playing well. Zeke had just come off his best game of the season, and it kind of was all setting up to this, unfortunately, and that's what happened. But Jerry, sometimes after a game like this, you just want to sort of chill out.
Yeah.
You want to calm down. We're both of us upset, antsy. Have you tried CBD?
Yes, I have.
CBD. CBDX.com, Jerry. Not your average CBD company. We've all tried CBD. None of it is like the real deal. Well, I'll tell you what, CBDX is the real deal. And it ships right to your front door. My listeners right now, our listeners, 20% off your order at cbdx.com with promo code MEOW. You also get a free gift. They make gummies, they make flour, tremendous cartridges. All the products look, smell, taste, and feel the same. They actually work. cbdx.com, promo code MEOW, 20% off your order, and you get a free gift. CBDX loves football. That's why we're promoting them. Show them some love. Show us some love. Check it out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need my order to get here soon after that loss for my gummies here. Oh, man. But,
All right. Look at some
man.
stats and
Yeah, let's go ahead.
yeah. All right. Let's I mean, honestly, the story of the game here is what Dallas did. So we're going to start there. Dak, 14 of 22, 188 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Stayed clean all day long. No sacks for the Panthers.
Yeah.
You would.
And this defense, that's their bread and butter. If you can't stop the run and get to the quarterback, I mean,
it
you're
was
going to
odd
lose.
because it seemed like the Panthers sort of alternated between the pressure defense that we've seen, work these first 3 weeks, and then this playback defense. And when they would bring the pressure, think good things would happen. When they wouldn't bring the pressure, not great things would happen.
I think they were trying to stop the run, and they just couldn't. With that not bringing the pressure, trying to stay home, stay on the line, try to stop them at the 1 yard line, at the line, it just didn't work. They were getting pushed around, and the O-line of Cowboys were opening up holes.
Yeah. And speaking of rushing, Ezekiel Elliott, 20 carries, 143 yards, and a touchdown. Absolute beast.
Yeah.
He looked as good as he has looked, I think, in the last couple of years. I mean, just really, really good. And then Pollard, 10 carries for 67 yards. So also, a really nice game from him. Looking at the receiving core for Dallas, Cooper, 3 for 69 and a touchdown. Schultz, 6 for 58 and a touchdown. Wilson, 2 for 30 and a touchdown. Blake Jarwin, 1 for 18 and a touchdown. Jerry, you and I talked about the tight ends being kind of a matchup key in this game, and they were a problem.
Yeah.
They were a problem all day long. All right. Just kind of looking at, again, I think I saw some stat where Dallas had 22 QB hurries and, 18 hits or something. ESPN's got Dallas having 11 QB hits, 5 sacks. 8 tackles for loss. Chuba Hubbard got tackled for loss several times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but your sacks are Golston and Osa, half sack each. Mike Parsons and Randy Gregory and Terrell Basham. And then shout out to Trayvon Diggs again, a guy you and I talked about, a guy you and I liked a lot
Mm-hmm.
coming out of the draft last year. 2 interceptions. He's now got 5 on the season, which is
Yeah.
insane.
And one of those was all Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I know you discussed it, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
discussed Robbie Anderson needs ball more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was part of the problem. Robbie Anderson was getting forced the ball, and he had a guy wide open on the right side. If you watch the
Yeah.
replay, I don't know who it was, but they would
That was
have.
DJ Moore.
It was DJ Moore, okay, and
Yep.
he just tried to force it to Robbie Anderson in an interception. The other one, great play by Diggs. I mean, you just can't call that anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just a really good day from the Dallas defense. Honestly, again, they gave up the kind of the garbage time points at the end there. And again, this was a 1-score game at the very last. So call it garbage time, don't call it garbage time, whatever the case may be. They sat Diggs out for the last, quarter and a half,
Yeah.
essentially. And that's when the Panthers were able to put some points on the board. But looking at Darnold, he was 26 of 39, 301, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, again, 2 rushing touchdowns as well. Not a terrible game for him. A couple of really bad throws, like we said. This is the first time that the Panthers have been down.
Yeah.
With Darnold at quarterback, and
I would have loved to have seen him. Sorry to interrupt you. I'd love to see him get that 2-minute drill, see what he could have done with it. Yeah. Because I don't think Sam Darnold looked bad. He overthrew a couple deep passes for wide open Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. And other than that, Trayvon Diggs one forcing it to Robbie Anderson, I didn't see that many bad passes. So I was kind of hoping to see it.
There were a few kind of passes into pretty heavy coverage that could have gone either way a couple of times, but no, I thought he looked okay. And then with that 300 yards, by the way, he has now hit 300 yards in 3 straight games, the first Panthers QB to ever do that.
I think that ties his record for Jets 300-yard games too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Look at it rushing. I mean, Chuba didn't look too bad at times. 13 carries, 57 yards. They sort of took him out of the game in the fourth quarter, and they went with Rodney Smith.
Yeah, they went with Rodney Smith because he has better hands than Chuba.
Better catching. Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're down so much, I mean, it's no longer a run game. So
yeah. But he looked okay. He made some nice big plays. He had 3 or 4 10-plus yard runs, I think. So, but again, he did get caught behind the line several times as well. So maybe not, certainly not McCaffrey-like in his ability to break that initial tackle. Darnold was 6 rushes for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns, as we said, and Royce Freeman 3 for 12. And looking at receiving, DJ Moore once again has just a great game. 8 receptions, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zylstra with a big catch in the fourth quarter, 55-yard catch. He ends up second in receiving, 2 catches for 63 yards. And then Rodney Smith, 5 for 48. Robbie Anderson, 5 for 46 on 11 targets.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about it a little bit, but we just need to reiterate, yes, we want to get Robbie Anderson involved. It's important. He's a good player. But not at the detriment of the offense, because if the offense is zooming and Robbie Anderson's not getting the ball, then keep the offense zooming.
Yeah. And it feels like they were just trying too hard to get the ball to him early. It was every target seemed like Robbie Anderson. Okay, that's nice. But DJ Moore's over here dominating whoever's on him because he was. It doesn't matter. Yeah. He just seemed to be open. I mean, I know 2 of those 12 targets he was open. It was just a bad throw by Darnold or Darnold getting hit and missing the throw. So
yeah, and again, Darnold just had people in his face the whole game. Yeah. I mean, I can't even really. There's the one play to Anderson that he was absolutely wide open. It didn't seem like Darnold had a lot of pressure at that point. That should have been a touchdown. But again, the game was kind of already out of hand. Yeah. At that time, anyway.
The offensive line we knew it was going to be a problem at the beginning of the season, and
Mhm.
it is a problem in the season
It
when
is a
we
massive
face
problem.
real talent and stuff. So Matt Rule and company, you gotta shore this up. You didn't address it in the offseason. That was the only thing I really didn't like, and it's coming back to haunt us. Pat Elflein didn't play, okay, but you still had he was awful anyway. So what's the big deal? Cam Irving was awful today. I mean, everybody was just bad on that offensive
Yeah.
line.
It was ugly. And when you face teams like Dallas, like Tampa Bay, that
Mm-hmm.
have these really good fronts and really talented players, you're gonna get this is what's gonna happen,
It
unfortunately.
and Dallas has not had a great front this year. Let's be honest. This is their first game where they really kind of looked really good
Well, they had four sacks coming into this game.
and added
But
five
they have
more.
talent. They have talent on that line. I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, Micah Parsons is amazing.
Yeah, but Micah
Like
Parsons wasn't rushing the quarterback for the most part.
he
He was
he was
mostly
quite a
plays.
bit in the second half.
Oh, maybe they
Yeah,
tweaked that because
yeah.
I kept
He
seeing
was
him more
quite a
as a
bit in the second half.
linebacker.
Yeah, he was playing more linebacker early, and then in the second half they started bringing him, and that's when sort of things got out of hand.
Oh.
Um, let's talk real quick about the tight ends. Ian Thomas 3 for 15. Tommy Trimble nothing. One target, and that was that one where he sort of got blasted trying to catch that ball. But I was expecting to see Tommy Trimble in this game. We
I
trade
did
away
too.
Dan Arnold, and we're sold this bill of goods about Tommy Trimble being involved, and nothing. Uh,
Yeah,
Interesting, I guess.
I have no clue on that. I wasn't that expecting too much from Trimble because he
I was
is still
expecting
a
more than
rookie.
one target.
I mean,
you know,
well, with that offensive line not being able to block, they probably tried to get him to stay in more. But I guess
yeah,
Ian
that's
Thomas
that's
had three
probably
targets, so
yeah. Just real quick on the defense again, no sacks to speak of. Sean Chandler led the team in tackles with 9, Chin with 6, Shaq Thompson with 5. Shaq went out for a little bit in this game, but came back in. Seems to be okay.
yeah.
I don't know. The defense just wasn't kind of flying around like normal, and
Tons of missed tackles.
yeah,
Missed tackle after missed tackle. I know I dogged on Daquan Jones and
hmm
Derek Brown for not plugging those holes up, but same time, Shaq Thompson, Jermaine Carter, you were missing tackles out there. There was
yeah,
times where you guys had a free one-on-one and you went whiffing and the running back or wide receiver went up for, 15, 30 or 15
yeah,
yards.
no,
Brian
yeah,
Burns, same thing. There was
yep.
a third down and 11 and he whiffed on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott runs 25 yards.
Yeah.
You've got to make these tackles. You can't arm tackle them. You can't shoulder tackle them. Wrap them up.
Yeah. I don't know if we're thinking about the same one, but I know Shaq had basically the exact same thing when he went for Prescott. It was him one on one with Prescott, and it didn't even look like Shaq tried to tackle him. He just
Yeah.
sort of reached his arm out and patted him on the shoulder as Dak went down, and that was at the third down. And Dak went down the sideline for 30 yards. So I don't know, man. Zane Gonzalez 0 for 1 in field goals, 4 for 4 extra points. Again,
I'm
where
not
would you say that the missed field goal was the turning point in the game?
I don't know because I don't know if the defense would have changed anything because they got dominated in that third quarter. So if they would have went up, I don't necessarily know if that defense would have swung the other way.
But just I guess from a momentum standpoint,
Momentum, yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Because you're looking at 13-14 to 17-13, and
And they're getting the ball at midfield.
yeah,
Dallas is. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to put everything on that missed kick, but
I
that is where the game changed.
yeah, I agree. I think that is kind of the turning point, the momentum swing that really kind of sealed the fate of the game.
Yeah. Third down defense wasn't terrible. Dallas was only 3 for 9, 1 for 1 on fourth down. Carolina 4 for 13 on third down, 3 for 3 on fourth down though. So nice job there. Again, a lot of that in garbage time. Panthers 1 time of possession again. I mean, they're having long plays or long drives.
Oh,
the defense is being able to rest. I mean, that's going to help as the season goes forward.
yeah.
Just trying to find some bright spots here. 113 rushing yards for the Panthers. Again, nothing really to write home about there.
No, you can't run the ball if you're trailing 22 points. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it was really sad that third quarter. That third quarter broke the hearts of the Panther fans and the Panthers. It felt like it was just all of a sudden, oh crap. I mean, that's what
And
just felt.
that's now 3 out of 4 games
Yeah.
where the third quarter has been actively bad. We've only scored in the third quarter one time this season.
So that kind of fills in where Matt Rule, Phil Snow, Joe Brady, what are you doing at halftime to improve the team?
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't seem like you're doing anything.
Yeah, the halftime adjustments have been poor, except for last week, where that's where they scored all their points was
Yeah.
in the second half. So kind of strange there, but again, a Thursday night game, who knows? But I don't know. Is any kind of final thoughts on the performances? Anybody in particular you want to shout out before we get to
I'm just
some other stuff here?
No, I'll give my hero award to somebody, but other than that, there's no one else that really stood out. The
Yeah,
defense, I hope you go watch this game tape, especially that third quarter, and just hang your head because you got manhandled. And that's good for the good young team sometimes. Maybe this will kind of make them, hey, maybe we were
yeah,
reading in too much into our number one overall rating, and they got their butts whooped out there. So,
yeah. I agree. Actually, this is a really young team.
mm-hmm.
This team was not going to go 17-0, right?
Oh, no, no, no,
And
no.
to lose like this, where you're coming in on such a high, maybe like you said, maybe drinking a little bit of your own Kool-Aid to get your butt whooped. That's just going to drive these guys. Hopefully, is going
Yeah,
to drive these guys to just come back even stronger next week and the subsequent weeks, and to be a little wary from now
yeah,
on.
yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
good. That's good. Beer bet, Jerry.
Uh, yeah, I said Tony Pollard would rush more than Ezekiel Elliott, and you were definitely win that one. And my bold bet was Dak Prescott had most rushing yards, and I lost that one too.
Yeah, yeah. Although he did end up with 35. My bold prediction was Robbie Anderson would have 120 yards and a touchdown. And tell you what, they tried. They
They
tried.
tried.
But no, that one did not work either. So
Yeah. And our beer bet and predictions are brought to you by mybookie.ag. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's been good to me. That's why MyBookie is always the right play. You bet, you win, they pay. Unfortunately, I lost. I took the under today. MyBookie has live in-game betting on every NFL game. They've got the most rewarding player perks in the business, and if for fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over/under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. I just need to take DJ Moore over from now
yeah,
on that,
pretty
and I can
much.
win.
Yeah.
Up to $1,000 first deposit bonus. Double your first deposit. Use promo code Meow to activate that offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie. And don't forget to use promo code Meow when creating your account to claim the bonus. Bet, win, get paid.
Heroes and zeros. Now, Jerry, I believe we're both going to have zeros in this game.
I have so many zeros. That's the problem. Like I
Do we
can't
have any
pin.
heroes?
I do have a
there are
hero.
there are heroes. There are heroes. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go DJ Moore. Obvious. Eight receptions, 113 yards. If we would have won this game, there would have been a play for him because
Mm-hmm.
that one play where he gets lit up, stays on his feet, kind of Spider-Man's up like superhero poses, and then scrolls, continues to run down the field. I wish he would have got that touchdown, but wow, that kind of
Yeah.
felt like, oh, we could get this. And then, unfortunately, the defense didn't hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, I mean, DJ is a good answer here. I guess I'll go with Zilstra. Just made
Yeah.
a huge play when the Panthers absolutely needed it. Unfortunately, didn't get the win, but a really big play, and that one play was more receiving yards than Robbie Anderson had the whole game on 11 targets.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, like, don't focus in on one guy because you've got playmakers out there. That's the good thing about this team. That's why Sam Darnold has had such success so far. Is you're spreading the ball around.
yeah. Continue doing
And
it.
there will be a game or two or three or four this season where Robbie Anderson has a good matchup and the ball's coming to him and he, has 300 or 400 yard games. It's going to happen. Just
Yeah.
let it happen naturally. Don't try to force it. Like we said. All right, zeros. I'm going to go ahead and steal what I'm going to assume your zero would be, and I'm going to say the refs. They actively, excuse me, I just knocked my mic, actively took points or put points on the board for the Cowboys. That fumble that they called
Yeah.
forward progress, stop the play, that put 8 points on the board for the Cowboys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So big zero in my book. And not that, by the way, same thing last week in Texas. Those refs also sucked. So I'm glad we're not going to Texas anymore.
Yeah, me too.
This season.
I mean, my zero, I'm going to give it to multiple players here. I am going to go run defense. So Daquan Jones, Derek Brown, Shaq Thompson, Jermaine Carter, you all stand up and take your zero because you got schooled today. You got beat up. You couldn't tackle. You could not get off your blocks in the right position. So, and most of that is due to you four. You are the linebackers and the defensive line where you're supposed to plug the holes up the middle, and you did not.
Panthers came in giving up 45 yards per game rushing, 245 yards in this game.
Absolutely. Just despicable.
200 more yards than they had been giving up on average. So, all right, Jerry, anything else? Or are you just ready to wash your hands of this and
I wash my hands. Thank God I am not a player and I don't have to watch a tape of this shellacking.
yeah, or fly home and
Yeah.
on the jet. Yeah. Again, maybe not a bad thing.
No. And we play
Maybe not a bad
Philadelphia
thing.
next week. So,
Winnable
let's
game.
hope. Very winnable game. They played the Chiefs all right today, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Chiefs defense is awful. So let's bounce back and have the Panthers defense really show what they are next week and come back to normal. It's a home game, so
yeah,
let's do it.
Let's rally and keep pounding. And thank you for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. There'll be many wins after this. This is just the first loss.
3-1. We're still gonna be at very worst tied for the division lead after the first quarter-ish of the season. Speaking of quarter-ish of the season, Jerry and I will be back on Wednesday
on YouTube, and then on
YouTube.
Friday for the main show.
Yeah. And we'll be doing our quarter poll, I guess, of the season where we kind of break down what we like so far, what we don't like, kind of predictions for the rest of the season, some awards, things like that. So tune in Wednesday for that. And then again, Friday, we will be back for our preview of the Philadelphia game. So
and
until then, everyone. Oh, go ahead.
Just got a little bit of good news. I haven't checked the scores lately. Atlanta lost in the fourth quarter, and New Orleans lost in overtime, I believe. So there we go. If Tampa Bay loses, there's no ground lost.
And again, Tampa Bay tonight, big game against New England. Tom Brady coming home. I'm interested to watch that. I'm going to enjoy that game. So until next time, everyone, stay safe out there and keep pounding.